Hello, thanks for tuning in. Your host, Organic. I have been having a bit of some technical difficulties this morning, so I had to change my venue. I wanted to go on Organic True Vision on YouTube. However, I haven't learned how to navigate through this new setup that YouTube has, this new interface. It's on my phone, so nevertheless, I couldn't go as I wanted. Anyways, but we're here now, so I also wanted to remind you guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to that channel over there on the Organic True Vision. I have a lot of different content over there. Right now, I'm waiting on my guest to come on, Leeno Moore. We're supposed to be having a discussion about a few things that took place yesterday and some things that we have been talking about over this past few weeks. So, and much more detail, and hopefully we can get some clarification on some things. There has been a lot of accusations made against me. There's a lot of things people said against me that's just untrue. There's allegations that have been made against things that I may subscribe to that is also untrue. But yeah, where are you at, Brother Littlemore? Let me see where he's at. He should be over here by now. I want to thank those for tuning in. Abdali, how's it going, cuz? And Brother Anthony, peace, peace, peace. Good morning to you guys. I hope you guys enjoying this Sunday morning. I almost said Saturday morning. I know a lot of you guys probably getting up early, put on that nice dress, that iron out, getting that suit from the cleaners, about to go into church and hear that sermon this morning. So a lot of you guys probably getting ready for that. Yeah. My brother Littlemore, he's going to find his way over here. We're going to have this discussion that's long overdue. Last night, my brother was getting extremely emotional, and he wasn't providing any facts. And I can tell he was frustrated in some instances when we were going back and forth. So there's a number of things that I'm sure he may want to, talk about to get off his chest, along with a lot of claims that he believed that I made and a lot of claims that he made that I'm certainly going to want clarification. I just don't think that a person can just, start saying things without, being checked or, or the claims that they're made are the claims that they're making being verified. I do believe in verification is something that is a must. So yes, let's see where my brother at. Brother, where you at? Little more, where are you at? Let's see, where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? Where are you at? Okay. One minute, guys. 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Let's see, how do I do that? Yeah. But until he comes, like I said, make sure you guys go to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check some of the content out there. I know a lot of you guys have an issue with some of the things that I say. And you guys in the past, you guys raised a lot of objections. So you actually have opportunity now to actually voice your objections in the comment section. You can actually state your concerns, and you can, a lot of people feel that, people who are subscribing to books of antiquity, I'm speaking about religion now, are foolish, and they believe that since we live in the 21st century or 20th century, we should be able to raise above, in their words, this falsified rhetoric. And this is in the words of the, so-called intelligent folks out there, which I actually have an issue with that, because I believe truth is not bound by time. So I believe if you start saying that things that people believe are true, you start making claims that they are false, I then believe that investigation needs to take place and the claims need to be checked out whether or not these claims that are made are false or true. I don't simply think that just because something is of old and your own limited understanding of things should blind you from whether or not this actual book or this actual religion or system existed or not. I think that's problematic to me. I think because when my point is this, because when you take that premise, what happens is this: you isolate yourself to one position, and that position that you isolate yourself to is not necessarily true, or it may not even in fact be yours. But what it does in the long run, it blinds you from something that can be potentially discovered or potentially understood. And I think that's an issue for me. That raises a big issue. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Where you at, brother? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I know brother don't have running shoes on, brother. I hope you here. Where you at, brother? We over here patiently waiting for you. I think the brother put on his running shoes and start running. I promise you, I won't go hard. I'll try to keep the punches above the belt. I just throw a few jabs in there. No uppercuts. I'm not trying to do any knockouts. No intellectual knockouts. I'm just simply trying to I don't know, it seems he said he was on his way over here, and that was a while ago. Then he said, okay, here I come. That was also a while ago. And I'm not saying the brother is running, but I think maybe he's still searching for his evidence and his proof that he wished to provide to us today. And I want to say that since you're taking up all our time, and we know that you over there searching for your evidence and proof for your claims, I want to say make sure you bring primary sources. Don't bring brother polite videos. I'm live, brother. Everybody else see me. I understand. What do you mean you don't see me? I'm on Facebook. He said you don't see me. I don't understand when you see me. Okay. How do I even send an invite? Okay. All right. Send an invite. Let me send an invite to the brother again. You getting a special invite, brother Leeno. Special invite. Special invite. Special invitation, my brother. Special invitation just for you. Let me know if you got it. But like I said, why you searching? I know you buying time over there. You gonna tell me everybody can see me but you? But like I said, when you come with your sources, make sure you bring primary sources. You can't bring videos of Brother Polite. You can't bring Richard Carrier. Richard Carrier been debunked. He was debunked by Bert Ehrman, someone of his own stock, or someone of who holds the same ideology or the philosophy that he holds. So you can't bring him. Don't bring me modern day opinions or regurgitated opinions from scholars. We're actually looking for primary sources. You can bring dates. I don't actually have any textbooks in front of me, as you can see. I don't have anything I can pull any references from, but I'll try to do the best of my ability to provide whatever I can. Okay, so I'll say that I sent the brother another invite. Sent your brother a couple invites. I don't understand what's going on, brother Leeno. I don't know how many invites I'm gonna have to send the brother. If this is the way, if this is your, oh, is that okay? Okay, he actually made his way over here. All praise be to Allah. He made his way over here. Let's bring you over here on the camera, brother. Here you go. Here you go. You got my phone already hot, brother, waiting for you. Man, brother, I can cook my pancake this morning with this phone, brother. How's it going over there, brother Little? How's it going?
Raining like a champ. My man, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you. I mean, I've been waiting for you so long. I can almost cook my pancakes for breakfast over here on my phone, man.
I came over. Now, normally, when you go live, I get notified, right?
Yeah,
So you went live today, but there was no notification, right? So,
that's
and
strange.
finally, between the both of us, there's no brain when it comes to technology here, right? So
Yeah, oh
I
man.
go, so I go here. So some told me, well, let's just type in his name, do a name search, and then go directly to his page, right? So that's what I
Yeah,
did to eventually get to you because normally I get a notification that it's organic is live, right? And I can
yeah,
just go right on there. But and you know, and I never got your invite until I just asked you, send me an invite or something. And then I finally got
yeah.
the
I
invite.
was
But I
just,
was
I
on
just
by that
figured out
time
how
I
to
was
do
on
that.
yeah, by that time I was already on your page, so I'm just yeah, whatever, man. Whatever,
And
man.
getting it together. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
You see, I was trying to get it together over there on YouTube, man, but I've been having some issues over there. Man, I don't know. I don't know how to invite guests on, and I don't even know how to open up the chat over there. So, I mean, I got to get a little bit familiar
Yeah,
with, how to work that platform.
because I know on YouTube you could do things like screen share, right? Like even if you have
Yeah,
guests on, yeah, you could do stuff like that to present your case or whatever the case may be. I don't know how
yeah,
that works on this mess here, but it is
yeah,
what
man.
it
Uh,
is.
Man, yeah, like
You
I
got
said, man,
you
I'm an
got to work out.
elephant to this.
Yeah, you gotta work out that tech stuff. But see, I'm pretty sure if you get a book or a manual, things that you don't like, that could provide you
Yeah.
information. That's how to do that. So I really don't know
I
how
see how
you
you
gonna.
threw that shot in there.
Yeah, I
I see
don't
how
know
you
how
threw
you
that
go.
shot in
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
there.
I don't know how you gonna get the information to how to fix that. I don't know how you would do that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I
you
got
know.
someone who's gonna be working with me, who's gonna who a little bit, tech savvy. So
Mm,
I'm just waiting on them to get them on my team, to help me with that. So it's just a matter of time.
yeah.
So what time do? But other than that, how you been, man? I seen you was a bit frustrated yesterday on that post.
Well, you know what? When sometimes when me and you engage each other, I need that distraction. Because life outside of this Facebook thing is not always
Yeah,
when I walk home and I get home and I walk into some shit because I cohabitate, right?
yeah.
And things ain't always what you need them to be, right? So
Hmm.
sometimes if I get frustrated with a person or something like that, it's more than likely things that extend far beyond what we talking about. But I need your distraction. You understand? Because, brother, I'm not trying to catch a charge out here, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need your
I hope my
matter of fact, you
distraction is
didn't.
a good distraction.
Yeah.
I hope it's a positive distraction.
I need to distract because I consider what me and you do, which is banter, right? And sometimes you need that, bro. You know how we say like when I was in the FOI, we would always say steel sharpens steel, right? So
Yeah, I
two
still hear
men,
that.
and the brothers going at it, right? But it's an
Mhm.
honest discussion. right? You're trying to share intellect with one another. Now, whether you
Yeah.
two can never agree, that's one thing, right? But it's never a frustrated shot at you, right? Because I
Yeah.
understand you get frustrated, I get frustrated, but
We
more
all
than
get
likely,
frustrated.
9 times out of 10 is always due to some external bullshit going on in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have so much stuff on your plate, right?
Yep.
And then you come home and things not quite right the way you need them to be. They're not quite in that space. So you come home and you enter into bad space already, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you get on your Facebook and you want to say, well, I want to see what kind of shit Organic talking about today, right? Maybe because if I don't get you on this phone, right? If I don't get you to distract me away from the shit that's on my mind or the stuff that I just walked into, even and Organic, I'm talking about even if it involves, because I have children, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And Organic, that life never stops. They're mine
Oh
for
yeah.
life, right? Yeah, they're
Yep.
mine for life, right? Yesterday, me and my daughter, we talking about college. Now, my daughter's 15 years old, already taking college creds, right? She's in the medical profession, right?
Wow.
And
Pretty
so,
smart.
yeah, but
Congratulations,
she
brother.
all yeah, but see, she requires so much attention, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
her only dad, right? I'm her only dad, right? But
Oh,
then
it's
I
well,
have
girls
to,
with that type of special potential. I mean, is a
yeah,
given with that type of potential. Yeah.
yeah, and so you constantly trying to educate them on things, right? And then you get
Mm.
into shit like I said, you go home and I'm dealing with a grown female here, right? The woman
Yeah.
is God, right? I'm dealing with a,
Mm.
a, a female here, right? That really thinks and believes these things, right? So you got to cater to that ego, and sometimes Organic. That's not easy, bruh.
Well,
That's
you
not
have a lot of
easy.
people out here. You have a lot of self-proclaimed scholars out here who's spilling that mess that the woman is God. So that trickles down in people's home, and they don't realize indirectly it has an effect and an impact on children. And because they're the future, and they take these things as a sponge, especially when they look at the people who preceded them as us as adults, and they look at how we walked, the
Right,
places we went, and I
right,
mean, and they engrave that into their brains as a
right,
fact of life. So I
right,
mean, we have to be very careful. I mean, like what we tell these people out here, and a lot of these people they do it for economical gain,
right,
for money reasons. Like people be selling certain things, and
right.
even religion, and that's something we'll probably agree on this very small point. I do believe that religion is used for economic and political gain. I do believe that. I don't believe that it was established based upon it, but however, I do believe that that's what it's used for. So I mean,
Right,
all of these things, when people are propagating this type of propaganda out here, of
hmm
course it's going to have an impact. And I don't think often we realize the impact that it has on the future, which is the children, as you mentioned before. But
hmm
I have a lot of respect for you, man, that you give that much time and attention to your
Shoot.
children, for
What?
their future and education, man.
Organic. Sometimes it's excuse me, but I have an ear infection this morning. But sometimes it's overwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be overwhelming, and that's why, like I said, now, like I started this Facebook page that I have, right? You know what I did, Organic? I'm gonna tell you what I did, as opposed to my other Facebook page, right, where I had a couple thousand friends on that one, right? On this one,
Mm-hmm.
guess what I did this time? I cut out. It's football season, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Organic.
Big
Listen to
focus.
what I did, right? Peep what I did, right?
Yeah.
I eliminated all the sports fans off of this
That's
off of this page because I don't have
yeah.
time for that, right? I don't support the NFL. I don't do that. Anywhere anybody standing up for this national anthem, I do not support that because I have a moral issue with that, right? In
Mm.
case in point, I really love what Nike did to back our brother Kaepernick. Organic, that touched my heart, bro. That
Yeah.
touched my heart. I mean, talk to me about that. Talk to me. What's your feeling on
I
that?
actually, well, I'm not a big sports fan either, but I would say this about Kaepernick. I think that all of it, it's two sides playing here for a bigger game, for the
Mm-hmm.
masses, because everyone knows that Nike gains a lot financially from that.
Right,
The publicity that it already have, and the right timing, and even
right,
they acting like one opposed Nike's opposing the NFL or vice versa. But however, I think they in cahoots together to work. They're working out a bigger scheme. That's just my
right,
personal opinion about it. And
right.
also by Kaepernick himself, I don't know if he would represent black folks as a whole, because if you break into his DNA, the ingredients may not always be what most so-called Pan-Africans or African Americans or black people would classify as African American. I'm not saying either or, but I'm saying there's some questions that have been raised about that. So, that have to be taken into consideration. It's just like how
Well,
people was talking about Barack Obama, oh, at first black president, but they didn't realize
I,
Barack Obama is half white. That's
well,
just reality. We get
yeah,
emotional about the 50% of the other side, but the reality is there's another 50%. So I like to look at everything from all sides of the glass. I don't like to just look at it from one angle and just I just don't know everything. And like you said, like I go one step further. I'm not a sports fan at all. Like I'm not into like NBA, NFL, and all of that. And one of the reasons because I it's not more so. I don't look at it from an entertaining perspective. I look at it from like I don't have it waste. It's more a waste of my time
hmm
in many ways to watch someone else kick a ball around or throw a ball around and get paid off of it, and I'm just sitting there not getting paid or anything. I don't see the logic in it for me. So I've
hmm
never been one of those people who's been heavy in that. I found it more interesting to actually play myself and get some personal benefit out of it, opposed to sitting there watching the screen. I actually thought people were really, crazy for, being crazy about sports. And
hmm
then you look at the etymology entertainment, what it says. Well, someone broke it down. I'm not even sure if this is true or not, but someone was saying that um, you allow something to enter you or to tame you for a duration of time. So you're being controlled by whatever they putting into you. Like the sports are just controlling your time, controlling the way you think, but you're not really
hmm
seeing a real reality. So I mean, because of all of that, and I can resonate with that in many
hmm
ways because how
hmm
I live my life and how I think. I mean, it's just one of those things.
well, don't
I can
be
see how you
careful.
support them though.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, be careful too, because sometimes we can overthink things and miss the whole message. Right.
That is true. That is
Right,
true. I do believe that's a
I'm just
limit.
going to focus on the message, right? And whereas though I think Nike took a bet, they bet on themselves to land on the right side of history here, because the issue that they're going, the underlying issue is very important to us as African Americans. It really is, right? Now, who
It's a
they
statement.
decide to make the face of it, it absolutely matters. Organic, you are absolutely correct, but the face of it is this young man, right? Not the typical African, right? The face of it was this young man. He started this process, right? So let him have his day. Let him have his
Oh
day,
yeah,
right?
Bruce. I'm not taking anything from him.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything from him. I agree with you.
hmm
Only thing I'm saying is I just said that I just don't want, like, for example, I think a big issue in the community, especially amongst the so-called African Americans. I say so-called because I don't consider myself as African Americans. I consider us black, indigenous to this land. That's what we know. I don't like that. I'm not going into the unknown, which is questionable. So I'm just we can. That's a whole different topic. But I think a lot of times the issue I have, or the biggest issue I have, is that we often fall into the same trap that we fell in the past. For example, like you've been taken. We could say we've been kidnapped or captives of this system for 400 years. But if you keep doing repeating the same exact mistakes over and over, I mean, come on now. So I just don't want to, I just don't want to cheat my intelligence or cheat myself in the long run by just buying anything that's been sold to me. I like to just check everything out and make sure it's 100%. And like to take, like for example, and I'll give you another example about what we was talking about on that post about Libya. Greedy Venmore, I forget his name, Greedy something. He was saying that, yeah, why no one talking about the slavery that has happened in Libya. And
Mhm.
I left a comment, and both of you guys were, y'all both was, throwing uppercuts and knockout blows at me over there. But at, but at the same time, though, my point
Uh,
still stands for the simple fact that we often just look at Fox 2 News, CNN, all of these different platforms, these outlets, and we believe exactly everything that they say. They talk about,
mhm.
I mean, if they can lie about us, lie about our history, and continuously lie about things that are happening, what make you think that they're going to start telling the truth about things that are happening in a different country? Whether it's happened to Somalians, whether it's happened to Arabs, whether it happened to Pakistanis, Indians, Japanese, Chinese. I mean, at some level, we have to look at it, okay, maybe there is some truth to it, but we have to further our investigation, do our own due diligence to make this conclusion ourselves, opposed to just accepting what's been sold to us. And I have an issue with that. And this is how I was. I promise you, I swear, by Almighty God. And this is I subscribe to. I know you don't believe that, but anyways. But when I was in Africa, when I spent my time in Africa, I'm gonna give you a little history. Before I went
There
to
you go with
Africa.
the shots. Shots fired.
Nah, nah, I did. But look, check this out though. When I was in Africa, before I went to Africa, I was
Right.
on this like I was patriotic of this country in some ways. Like, I used to think like, okay, whatever the news is telling me, it has to be true. Whatever I'm reading here, it got to be 100% correct because everything around me and the surround my environment was telling me that. But
Mhm.
soon as I stepped foot in Africa, it was like a different change. Like I got checked by Africans, man. They put me in my place. One
Mhm.
African told me when I first got there, he said, "You think you so smart, but you Americans go around so arrogant, but you only speak one language. You only speak English. Most of us speak 9 or 10 or 13 languages, and they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do." And I said that I
Yeah.
had to think about that. Like, hold up, maybe I'm not that smart. I checked myself right then and
Yeah.
then. And then, a few other things. I used to believe
Yeah.
that they were people who were oppressing other people. They was into cannibalism and this type, and that just wasn't true.
Right.
I went to some of the most horrible, horrific areas. I'm talking places where people was being mistreated. Some of the things I can't even say. When I was come over for political reasons, but I've
Right.
seen some things, man. I've seen some things. So one of the things is, out of many friends that I have Libyan friends from Libya.
Right.
I have other parts from other parts of Africa. And these individuals will tell you themselves that there's a lot of rhetoric that's been spilled over the mainstream media trying to start a civil war amongst Africans in certain Arabs and certain regional areas close to the outskirts of Africa and going into the Sahara Arab Peninsula. And there's a lot of political motivation there. For one thing, there's resources in certain areas over there that people need to tap into. Opposed from certain resources, there's certain political control that needs to take place over there. You have to remember, Gaddafi was trying to reestablish the gold value over there. He was trying to bring back wealth that had intrinsic value.
Right.
You have to understand certain people who in opposition to the Africans were people that were on the side of some of the Zionist movement. They were so-called Arabs. They looked like Arabs because they breeded into certain families. They breeded in, so they start to look the part. They adapted the culture. They even adapted some of the religious rituals that took place in that particular area. But they were
Right.
undercover. They was covert. And we don't understand this part of warfare. This is very tactical warfare. And what I'm saying, I'm saying too much because I was told before to watch what I say. So,
Right.
I'm not trying to dive in too deep that I can't swim back out of. But anyways, I'm saying all of that to say this, that there's more to that story than what has been told. You have to
Right.
understand some of those blacks who's been mistreated over here, some of them were paid off by Zionists, and they would mistreat not only blacks, they was mistreating some of the other Arabs and people who lived in that particular area. And so once those people took over certain control of certain areas, they took back, they started mistreating the same people who was mistreating them. And even though that particular land took place, and you have to understand, all of that was by design. There's an outsider who's in all of this, who's sitting over there paying both sides and giving each side's weapons, and then sometimes they'll pay the other side or give the other side weapons. How you think they're getting all this new American style weaponry? And I mean, come on now, like you talk about a land that have nothing but rocks and stones and dirt.
Right.
I mean, all of that have to be taken into consideration. What I'm saying is, we can't speak out of context if you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle.
Right.
And I know a lot more about what's going on over there than I hear a lot of people talking about over the net. About, look at them, don't you see how they doing them? It ain't about because I'm Muslim. Because I'm gonna say this straight up. There's a lot of bad Arabs. There's a lot of Arabs who have enslaved a lot of Africans. There is a lot who are doing bad things. I'm not taking that away, but I'm saying this specific situation, we have to take it into context. That's just my only position.
Mm-hmm.
You may disagree or agree, but that's my position on that.
Hey, whatever, man. Well, let me ask you this, brother. Why do you hate books so much, man? I just want to get right to that
Oh,
topic right
actually,
there.
what do you mean I hate books if I subscribe to the Quran?
I mean, the Quran itself is a book, right?
Yeah.
I just want to ask you this, right? Like for instance, let me ask you this question, right? Just for an example, for the argument's sake, right? Just bear with me here.
One minute,
Just
I'll give a shout out
walk
to
with me
or
down
now
this
who
road.
for signing in. Go ahead.
What you say,
I'm
brother?
sorry, I want to give a shout out to the chat. I was giving a shout out to Ornell. He gave a shout out to both of us in the chat.
Oh, oh, okay, okay.
Also, I want to give a shout out to David Arthur. There's, actually, I didn't check out the shout. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you also go to my YouTube channel, Organic True Vision. Make sure you subscribe to the content that I have over there. Hit that bell over there to get notified next time I go live. And a shout out to you, brothers. I will be reading your statements in the chat once we finish this little discussion and I answer this brother's question. I will respond to some of the concerns that we have here in the chat. Go ahead, brother. And if anyone
Okay,
else want to join, let me know in the chat, and we can, you guys can join the platform. Go ahead.
okay, all right, damn. Yeah, you made me lose my train of thought, man. That's what you.
You asked me about
Yeah,
why do I don't
yeah,
like books. You was
yeah,
going in about that.
yeah. Well, why don't you? What is your issue with getting knowledge from books, right? I mean, if we can't get knowledge from books, where do we get the knowledge from? Where would you like for me to dig from, to pull from, to give you the knowledge of a thing?
I'm actually
'Cause
happy that you're saying what you're saying, brother. As you can see all my teeth. I'm smiling. You know why?
what's
Because
that?
in one instance, you guys say that we believers, we're stuck in a book. But when it suits you guys, you then say that we don't like subscribing or we don't like reading books. So you got to make up your mind, which one is it? Before I answer your question, you have to make up your mind, what side of the fence are you standing on? And you have to stand on that one side. You can't keep flip flopping.
I'm
I got
asking
music over
you.
here if you want to bug dance.
I'm asking you a direct question, right? It's just you know what? I'm gonna make it yes or no. I'm gonna make it
Okay,
real simple, yes or
I'll
no,
answer
right?
it.
All
But
right.
this
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 okay, you gonna let me finish, bro? Let me just ask you a question, right, and get it over with, right? Do you not respect the knowledge that comes from books? Yes or no?
yes, I do.
Okay. Now, when I provide information to you, and brother, you made a post yesterday, right?
Hmm.
About the African slash Muslim person in 1866. Remember that post you put up
Yes.
about the Cherokee Nation, one of the last remaining leaders of the Cherokee Nation, right?
Hmm.
Remember that post you put up, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. And I went and did some research right behind you on that. You noticed that, right? I
Okay.
sent it to you. I sent it to you. Cause see, I
I
send
didn't get a
everything
chance
to.
to check that out. I'm
Okay,
not
well,
gonna. I'm not even going to hold you up. I didn't get a chance. I'm gonna check it out though. So is it false or was it debunking
no,
that
no,
to
no,
be
no, no, no,
false?
no, 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 no. I actually liked that post that you put up because it was absolutely correct, right? But
Okay.
then I'm sitting there thinking, now he got this source. Where did you get that from, brother? Where did you get
Someone
that from?
sent it to me. Someone
And you
actually sent it to me.
and you you didn't bother to verify it because you don't read my information.
No, I actually, to be honest with you, I did not verify it because it was sent to me on Facebook, so I just actually shared it. So I didn't. I liked the post. I didn't verify. I took it from face value. I'm to be honest with you. maybe you're right. Maybe I should have verified it to be certain of it, but I didn't verify it.
Well, I did it for my brother, right? I did it.
Okay, and
See,
I
this
appreciate
is
that. And I want to
see,
thank you
see,
for that.
yeah. See, this right here. I have no animosity with you, bro. Right. In
Yeah,
fact, I
yeah,
would.
straight
I've
up. I'm
always.
straight up.
No, listen, listen. I've always offered to help you in terms of research because this is what I do. I help people get their dissertations done, right, ready for their PhDs. This is what I do. Although I have no PhD myself, but I'm a great researcher, right? But you have to get information from books, from
Yeah,
books that have been left to us by people that predate us, that our predecessors, right? Knowledge was written down. And they did
yeah.
this for a purpose, organic,
So
right?
let me
They
ask
did
you a question. Is
that.
all
Go ahead.
knowledge is written? Is all things that are written in books knowledge?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
So
not.
how do we discern between which books that we should credit as knowledge and which books we should credit as not being knowledge?
Well, it all depends on the field of study of what you're looking for. Are you looking at a
I'm talking
magazine? Let's say,
in any general
okay,
field
okay,
field.
okay,
I'm just
okay,
talking about
okay.
methodology.
Okay. All right. Let me answer you. Right. Let me answer you right before you go on, because you tend to like hit people with 16 questions in a row. So I will stop you at the first one. Right. This is why it is most important when you check in the validity of something. Right. You need
Mhm.
independent corroboration, meaning sources outside of the book that claims to be knowledge. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. Okay. See. So why do you fight me so much? Why do
No,
you
I
fight
fight
me so much on issues, organic?
because I think that some of the books in which you bring forth as evidence is inconsistent with the timeline of the event that is claimed to may have taken a place, may have claimed to have taken place, and I also believe that is also inconsistent with its primary language, or it's a language barrier. So I believe that certain translations, there are certain things that can be that could be lost in translation. So if it's not by primary, if it's a secondary source, I have an issue with it. It's very problematic to me. I believe that if you want to provide proof, it have to be in a primary source, and it have to be within the timeline of that event that took place. And if there's new objections been raised about that being discredited or not verifiable, I also believe that there should be some writings in that same time period or that time event same time period of that event, in contrast to that position or that particular claim. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, so now staying with that format, let's stay with that, right? How, if you do not have access, or if there is no presence at all of a primary source, right? In any given situation, right? If there's no access to a primary source, how then do we check the validity of it?
That's right. I like that question. That's in fact that's a very great question. If you don't have any way of checking the primary sources, you then have to respond to the claims of that particular book. If that book is making certain claims is either true or false, and if it's inconsistent with nature, is inconsistent with the laws of nature, if it's inconsistent with things that could be tested within the five senses, if it's inconsistent with that, then I believe that that would disqualify the validity of that information of being true.
Okay, now you mentioned the five senses. We all know, and you even know, that your senses can be fooled, right?
Your senses can be fooled. All, in fact, all your senses can be fooled. Even your eyes, you could be thinking you're seeing something. It could be a perception of something else.
Right.
Yes, that is true.
Right. So when that fails you, right? Being
Hmm.
as though you want to use the five senses as part of your criteria to check the validity of something, right? When you
Hmm.
cannot trust to an
Hmm.
absolute your five senses, then what do we do?
Then the consensus of the people the consensus of those who are seeing the exact same thing. If you have a large quantity of people who are seeing the exact same thing, then you can take that testimony into consideration as well. That you can build you can build your evidence by taking other external things for evidence
Mm,
to make your claim even more more weightier. I
Hmm.
think that's the approach. That's the other method in approaching and when looking for truth or texting or textbooks.
Right. And in order to come to an informed, rational decision about anything, right?
Exactly.
So now here's my argument, right? Here's my argument, continuing along this path, right? Like
Hmm.
you want to continuously offer your particular book, right? And when we talk, and I'm not even going to mince words here, right? You want to keep offering the Quran as evidence to prove the validity of the Quran. This doesn't seem like a problem to you.
It would be a problem if I'm trying to offer the Quran to prove. I'm not trying to use the Quran to prove the Quran. I'm telling you that the Quran can be entered as a form of evidence. Because like you said, there are some things in the Quran that cannot be proven by the five limited senses. And we also just mentioned that the senses can have its own different perceptions depending on that sometimes it may not give out a true reading. We just mentioned it, right? So for that reason, and in that instance, the Quran then makes certain claims, and that claim, the claims can be, you can take the claims and measure it with external things outside of the Quran to see whether or not those claims are true or factual or false. And that's my position.
Okay. So
And there's
now,
certain passages in the Quran, yeah. And
if
there's
there's
certain
certain what
things.
say
Oh,
again, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Oh, I don't want to leave off this topic, so I'll let you continue. Go ahead. I don't want to.
No,
I don't
no,
want
I'm
to
sorry.
digress.
Okay, so here we have it. Our biggest issue, me and you, right?
Hmm.
Me and you. You know that I have, well, you would label me an atheist, right? Am I right or wrong, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I asked you. I didn't want to just mislabel you anything. So, and I guess this is what you told me. So, I mean, with all due respect, atheist. Go ahead.
Right, right. So you would label. See, now here's my issue, right? I'm not
Yeah.
coming to you organic. I'm not saying to you that you're this. I'm not making this statement to you. This is not. I've never made. I will never make this statement of fact to you, because if indeed I made this statement to you, then the burden of proof would fall on me. So I will never make this statement but for you, because the Quran makes a bold-faced claim, as does the Bible, as does the Torah or the Tanakh, right? They make a bold-faced claim in suggesting that there's a superhuman being or a creator
Mhm.
at the head of all of this that we know as creation today, right? This is the claim
The
that
Quran don't
these
make
books make, right? All of
the
these, all
Quran
of
don't make that claim.
these Abrahamic faiths. I mean, just clarify this for me, right? These Abrahamic
Okay.
faiths, and I'm only speaking about what you into and what you know about, right? We're not going off nowhere, right?
We can talk about all of them if you want to.
No, we go. No, that's too much ground to cover organic. I got to go to work, brother. Right? So listen, we're gonna talk about the Abrahamic faith, right? They make a claim that there exists a superhuman being, right?
Mhm.
That's at the forefront of all this. Am I right? Clear that up for me, brother.
Well, the Christians believe that the God can be in the form of a human being, even if it's limited, in the form of a son. And there's, God will be coming back in that instance. And I believe that that was taken from the pagans of old. This is what the Christians subscribe to, and I believe that you can trace that all the way down to Babylon and how they were trying to change religions because it's something similar in Hinduism. You find something similar and certain lower branches of different faith and religions that a common thing that they were always trying to make God human like or limited him to the creation in many ways. But that's either here
Right.
or there. But as a Muslim, you asked me to limit this to the Quran, so I don't want to dive too much into those books. I'll limit my response to the Quran. The Quran does not mention, in fact, the Quran doesn't give one name for Allah because there's different people who refer to the creator by different names, just a higher being or creator. Allah is just it's the al is an article before ilah, which is God. It's just meaning that there's just a specific there's an absolute controller. That's all that means there. But the understanding from the Quranic understanding of who Allah is not that Allah come in the form of any human. It's not the understanding that Allah comes in the form of anything that the senses could relate to as in this creational form. Allah is saying that He's above that. He has 99 different attributes. He has more than 90 more attributes than that. Saying He's the giver, He's the sustainer. He's the one who provides. These are things that He can be recognized by. But Allah says that Laysa kamithlihi shay. This is the Quran verses. Laysa kamithlihi shay. I'm nothing like. I'm nothing similar. Shay'un wa huwa sami al-basir. I'm nothing similar to any of His creation, and He hears that's what people say in the heavens and in the earth. So, as a Muslim, I don't subscribe to Allah being this superhuman being in the sky who have human hands and it talks like humans and eyes and he interacts with his creation as such. I don't believe that. I believe he was above that. That's why when we have these scientific arguments and people start when they start arguing with me about processes, I always says, what's the beginning of that? The beginning of that is Allah. Then when people start arguing about the cause, I said, what was the cause of that? The cause of that is also Allah. I keep saying that because people try to make it seem like Allah is something human, something creation like. And I'm referring to Allah. If you say a designer, the absolute designer, I'll say that's Allah. That's not but we're looking at it through the lens of something that's fashioned or that's crafted in a creational style form. And I think that right there is a fallacy in itself. But the Quran don't hold that view.
The Quran
Did that
don't
answer your
hold that
question?
view. No,
Nope, it doesn't hold that.
no, no. Okay, okay. Maybe I should rephrase it another way.
I'm gonna tell you the F O
You,
Y. The F O
you
Y.
meant it.
I'm sorry. Can I say this
Let
really
me.
quick?
Okay, go ahead, go
I
ahead,
want
go
to
ahead.
add this. Is the F O Y? I think what you're putting me in the box with the F O Y, the Nation of Islam. I don't subscribe to what the Nation of Islam subscribe to, and I think that's how I think that's where you get your understanding from in relating to this particular topic because the Nation of Islam they believe that Allah came in the embodiment of Fard Muhammad, right? They believe that he came in many different ways. He was incarnated in the body of Fard Muhammad. We believe as Muslims, as Orthodox, or people who subscribe to the Quran in its primary, genuine form, as that being wrong, absolutely incorrect. They also believe their explanation of God, some of them believe that God created himself out of darkness. We as Muslims who Orthodox Muslims believe that if God created himself out of darkness, then darkness must be God's God. So that's a problem for us. So we don't subscribe to that view. So I think that's how you're looking at it through through the lens of FOI.
Well, I just specifically said Abrahamic God, right?
But they
I,
what they
I'm,
say
I'm
there, they follow Abrahamic too, though.
okay. So it's just different attributes assigned to the same being. It's God, right? I'm just talking about this God-like figure, right?
Oh,
I just want to talk about this God-like figure that is expressed throughout the Abrahamic faith, right? I just want to focus on that, right? I don't care how we got there, right? Or what process of belief we chose to use to get there to express this God. The God exists, whether or not, no matter what equation you use, it's the same God, right?
mm-hmm. Yes, it's the same
Right,
God. The
right,
description of God is given differently, but we all
right,
believe in a nutshell that a God exists or there's a creator. There's something higher
right,
than ourselves. There's an entity higher than ourselves, an extraterrestrial being or something
right,
outside of the universe or within the universe that's higher than ourselves that's controlling everything. We do believe that. So can I
right.
ask you a question then? Are you still asking me questions or can I ask you a question now? Or I don't
Yeah,
know how that works.
yeah. I'm not done yet, brother.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm not done. You're making me lose my train of thought. Listen. So
I apologize for that.
when this supposed God created the universe, was he inside or outside of the universe? Does he exist outside the universe, or does he solely exist within the universe that which he
Well,
created?
if God wanted to create the universe inside, because God can do all things, I'm sure that that's possible. But then again, it's like, if he was outside of the universe, it would make more logical and rational sense, because he was the first uncaused cause of all things. So that would mean that out of the universe, things cause, and how he explains it, or he expresses himself in the Quran, he mentions himself being outside of the creation when he created it. So I will have to subscribe to he was outside of the creation when he created it. But that doesn't limit him from being inside within the creation when he created it. I'm not that you understand what I'm saying? My point being made,
Yes.
because it's like, for example, people ask, can God make a square circle? Or can you put a square between, yeah, certain things that we know that are impossible with our limited logic, that will bend the laws of the they'll bend the laws of nature, right? So I mean, but of course God can do it in a way that befitting of him if he first one created, but that's not how he created laws, and he didn't make that consistent with everything else. So what would be the benefit in him doing that now, just to rationalize with our own intelligence? I mean, that's just something to put out there.
So does not this God that you make subscriptions to, with all these great things you attributed to this God, does not this God defy the laws of physics to the known universe today? He is without
In which
substance,
way?
right?
How he defied the laws of physics? In which way?
Because
How
see,
does
he
God
can't
defy
be
the
put
laws
in
of
the
physics?
box. According to what you just said, right?
Hmm?
He can do anything. That he doesn't coexist. He doesn't need to abide by the natural laws of physics. He doesn't need to do anything. He can do anything. He's Michael Jordan. He can defy. I mean, gravity doesn't hold this guy. None of these things hold this thing down. But here's the question. Here's the real question. Is these concepts in your mind, are they testable at all? Can you
What
test
and
and verify these claims? Can we do this at all?
can I testify and verify the claims that God
No, not
exists, or there's
testify.
a
No,
God?
not testify. No, not te- I don't want to hear you testify no more. Right? What I want you to answer me a question. Yes or no? Can we test for these things? Is this concept a testable thing?
It
Can we?
is testable,
Yeah? Is there a
but the
test?
thing
Is there
is,
a
it's
methodology? Is there a
it's testable.
methodology which we can use to test this?
It's testable, but the problem is this: is that you can't limit
Wow.
yourself to just physical tools of science to test things. I think what happens is often we limit ourselves to only the physical tools of testing things, and we look at science, but we don't look at spiritual aspects, and we don't look at other aspects of testing. And like, for example, some testings have to be done with evidence. Evidence is not always physical or tangible proof. Evidence can be sustained by logic and rationale. You can to compare something that's consistent with everything else is factual. It becomes facts until it's disproven, and that's and that in some circles of science, this is also believed as absolute fact because this evidence can be disproved.
Uh,
In
uh,
that regard, that is sufficient enough. That is sufficient enough. Let me finish before you jump in. This is
okay.
sufficient enough. You know this makes sense, man. You know this makes sense, whether you want to agree with it or not. But you're gonna be rolling in your bed at night trying to trying to get out of it. But yeah, so whether or not you agree or not, an evidence can be fact. For example, logic for an example, how did you get here? I'll give you something that will lead to a higher purpose than yourself. Do you believe that you're brought into this world with a purpose, or you believe your purpose was to do whatever you wanted to do, like drink, smoke, dance, screw whatever females to come your path? I mean, if is this is this one? Yes, I'm not finished, so I'm gonna ask you a question, just a yes or no question. Do you believe this is your purpose of life, to do whatever you want to do, however you see fit? The smoke, drink, party. I mean, just live it up. I mean, I'm asking, do you believe this is a purpose of life, or do you believe that there is no such thing a purpose of life? Yes or no?
See, here's the problem with what you do. See,
Yes or
you
no?
don't
Because
act.
I'm not
No,
finished. I
no,
don't
no,
want
no,
to lose
no.
my train of thought.
I know, but hold up. But see, I gotta correct something you do, organic, right?
Oh man,
See, I
come
don't
on
have
now,
a
brother.
no, no, no. Listen, I don't have a problem with you asking me, do I believe I have a purpose, and leave it at that. But your question contains assertions. Right? You see how
I'm not
clever
sure.
you threw? No, because what you did, listen, this is what I'm saying. You try to frame your question to guide me to a specific answer that doesn't conflict with your worldview. Because I do not agree with your worldview, why do you assume that if I sit back and explain to you a purpose in
Let me
life, it
rephrase the
means that I
question
want
then.
to do anything that I want to do? Why would you make that assertion, organic? That's not fair. That's
Okay,
very disingenuous of you. That's not
let me.
fair.
I don't think I did that, but let me rephrase the
You did
question. If
do
that was
that. You gave
okay,
me two
can I?
options of purpose, right? You gave me two
No,
options of purpose, and then you
I no for the
defined both
audience.
options.
No, for the audience, I define what I understand purpose to be. And then I ask you about purpose and how you understand purpose, or do you believe you have one or not? But I did
No,
that for the
no,
so
no.
for understanding purposes. But I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
I didn't
Now,
assert that
now,
towards you
now, now
directly.
stop right. Now stop right there, and I got an answer for you. Right? We don't need to go any further into that. Right? Stop right there. No, I do not believe human beings were created with a purpose. No,
Okay.
human beings
Okay.
are given and tasked a purpose by other human beings.
Okay.
Now go ahead, do
Thanks
what you
for your
gotta do.
response. I'm
Right.
happy, man. We finally got it out. It was like pulling teeth, but we got here. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my second thing is this. You said that you believe that we were created without a purpose. We don't have a purpose. So if we don't have a purpose, then and we design with such intelligence to think, we have certain intelligence to design to create or to not create, but to make other things from something that's already pre-created. You have to put that in there. That's pre-created. Since we have all of these gifted things that comes with this package of being a human being or being a man or being a woman or etc, and we also have something that it is in the best intelligence to procreate, so we have something where we can uh, um, remodel ourselves or leave behind a model of who we are once we pass with our children, our grandchildren, etc. All of these great things that exist that are there, and we know these things just didn't randomly happen because it's perfectly functioning now, and we won't be able to have this organized discussion if it was random. So with all of that being
You,
said, then
you, you're,
why
you're
do we die?
framing, you're framing it. You are framing your question again.
No,
You're framing it again.
no, I'm
You
telling you how
just
my
did it.
brain
You
thinks. I'm
just
I'm
did it.
walking you through my brain. I'm walking you through how I think. I want you to see what's in my head because you think I have this religious worldview. So what I'm doing is I'm letting you see how I'm thinking about everything you're saying, and then you can debunk
Right.
it. And you're a very intelligent person, man. You're very smart, and I know that you know what you're doing. So I'm not worried about this being too much for you.
Hmm.
So with that being said, with that being said, I'm asking you, what if we have no purpose, then why do we die?
Because you have to.
Have to. Okay, so why are we alive without a purpose? Why are
Because
we alive? If we have
because
intelligence, we have all these things, why are we alive?
because you're just simply alive. Why do you have to look for a reason to be alive? Do you really need
Okay,
a reason to be alive?
but you find reasons to spend time with your children. You find reasons to have a family. You find reasons to have a job. You find reasons to eat food. You find the reasons to go party. You find the reasons for all these different things. Why can't you find the reasons to be find a reason to be alive? Is that inconsistent?
Yes, inconsistent because you get what you're doing see, you're trying to give what you're trying to do here is listen. There's
Answer the
nothing
question. Don't
wrong.
tell me what I'm trying to do.
I am. There's not because there you want to make it a two answer thing, but there's a third answer. And I don't think people should be afraid to answer in the third. And you know what the third
No,
answer is? I do
which
not know. I do
well,
not know. Right?
you may not know, but that
Right. I do not know. I'm saying I do not
and
know.
I respect I
Right,
respect you for conceding to the point and
right,
actually saying that you do not know. But let me, since
right.
you do not know, why don't you listen to someone who knows what our purpose is? So let me explain to you your purpose.
Because you could not possibly know. This is the whole point. You could
Okay.
not
Now you
possibly
you
see
don't
that
know.
was an assertion.
You
You're
don't know.
making an assertion. You're making an assertion,
Brother,
organic,
did you
and
just
this
not
is
say
not
you don't know?
science. You don't
Did you
get to
just say you
plug.
do not know? I'm allow you to allow
I
someone who
just said
does
I
know.
don't know. I don't know, and you don't know either.
Oh, so now you know what I
Now,
know.
how
How
can
can
you
you
now?
test what I know?
Honestly,
What
no,
science
sit there.
approach are
No,
you
no, no, no,
taking
no,
to
no, no,
test
no,
what
no,
I
no,
know?
no, no. So you know the purpose of life. This is what you're telling me. You know the purpose of
No,
life,
I didn't say the purpose of life. I'm saying does life have a purpose or not? That's what's the question. You
brother.
said you don't know,
And
and
I
life
just said
we live
I
just
don't
to be
know,
lived.
right?
That life
Right.
don't
I
have
do.
a purpose. Yeah, so what that actual purpose is, that's a whole different discussion. That's going to
Correct.
digress us from our point. But I
Right.
asked you, do we have a purpose? And you said we do not have a purpose in one instance. And then afterwards, when I asked you another question, you then simply said there's a third answer, and that third answer is you do not know. And
I do
then I
not
said,
know.
since you do not know, why don't you listen to someone who does know and let them
Who-
explain to you about the purpose of does life have a purpose or not? And you said no, because there's no way of knowing that there is a purpose or not. And I'm asking you, what method, or what scientific method are you using to test whether or not I have this information or not, or it's inconceivable?
Just observing the universe and all the things that are around it and around me. Observation,
So around
experiment. Hold
so
on, listen. Experimentation and demonstration. And as to the purpose of life, there is no factual data present before me or you as it pertains to one's purpose in
don't
life.
say me, say you. So do you have an unlimited view of all things? Do you have an
Do I have
unlimited view of all things?
what does that mean exactly?
Meaning that you just say that according to what you observe and what you've seen, there's no
Right,
way no one can know this or know that if life have a purpose or not. So I'm asking you,
right.
since you made that bold statement, that was an arrogant, bold statement. So you
But
spoke for
why is that?
every human being. You
Wait,
spoke for every
wait. Why would that be an arrogant, bold statement, organic?
because you
If
spoke
you
for
don't
every human
know,
being.
no,
Because you spoke for everyone.
listen.
That's what I
You
said.
trying to make it shameful for people to just simply say that I don't know.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm
Why
okay
would
with
that
you
be?
saying that I don't know. I'm okay with
Why
you
would
saying
that
that
make
you
me
don't know.
arrogant? If I don't know the
You spoke
answer,
for
organic, I
everybody.
don't know.
I understand, but hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I have no
Right,
issue with you saying that you don't know. I can agree with that. But once you start
right.
saying everybody else don't know, that's where the problem lies.
Because you
Because
don't
you're
know.
speaking for every,
You
because you
don't know.
speaking for everybody.
You can only make an assertion as to one's purpose in life. That's all you
Now,
can
no,
do.
don't change
You
up what I
don't
said. We're not talking
know.
about one purpose of life. We actually speaking. Does life come with a purpose? Yes or no? I'm not talking what that
No,
purpose may be.
life comes with
You said we
obligations.
the
Obligations. Obligations. Which are
obligation stems from
contingent,
purpose.
which let me finish. Which are
It stems from the same
contingent.
thing. There's no way around it.
See, hold on, listen, let me finish, right? Let me finish this. Let me be
Okay, go ahead.
courteous, brother. Let me finish, right? Your life comes with obligations, right? How do you get to where I am arrogant when I say I don't know? It's no
No,
shame in a
that's not
person
what I
saying
don't
that
think.
they don't know.
You're right. And I agree with you. I didn't get to you arrogant when you said I don't know. That part I'm okay with. When you said that there's no way that no one else can know, then you said there's no way I can know, and you said that and then you gave your reasons for it being no way that either I or anyone else can have this information. I said that is an arrogant and a bold statement to make.
Okay,
Is
let
it
me
not?
ask you
Not
this then.
about what you
How
know.
do you know? Tell me what you know
Not
as to
what
the
you
purpose of life. I'm gonna
what you
listen
should
to
have
you
did in the first
because
place.
you know.
That's what you should have did in the first place. You know that. And you know I'm right, man.
Okay,
You know I'm
okay,
right.
let's go.
This is what you should
Okay,
have did in the first place.
let's go. Tell me how you know. I want to hear this. Come on.
It's given by just simple human logic and rationale that if everything else is organized, that this body is organized in every way, it's consistent or that it will only be organized in its conception. It will come with a purpose of a set of reasons and it will come with sets of rules that it will follow that's consistent with the law of the universe. So it lives its purpose. It comes with a purpose. It doesn't just come, live, and die. Just the we don't live as human beings in the face of the earth just to like, okay, our purpose is just to eat food. Is a higher purpose than eating food. A purpose not just to drink water, because if
or,
not, then we wouldn't go to school. We wouldn't.
or
We wouldn't.
organic,
We wouldn't
or
get
organic.
higher learning.
Please
We
give
won't
me
even
the
have
answer. Please,
families. We won't build things.
organic,
Let me finish. Let me finish. We
organic.
won't build things. We don't have
Could you just get
infrastructures.
to the
So
answer?
there's a bigger
All right.
there's always higher purposes than ourselves. So we come into this world with a bigger purpose. You said we don't. We're just here because we just live it.
How do you know that? How do you know that? See,
Because
you're building up
it's
to make another assertion. So I just want you to make your
I'm
assertion.
just not a Christian.
Can-
Okay. You ask me how do
yeah,
I know that? Let me answer.
yeah,
You ask me how do I know that? Because
yes.
everything I'm saying, I'm living it right now, and you're living it right now, and everybody you know is actually living that purpose. And they made choices. Some people may not living the purpose according to the way that was instructed to them to live that purpose, but because they're given free will. But even that in itself is something that's already written out beforehand. So it is a purpose in a
Wait a minute,
longer
wait a
view of
minute,
things.
wait a minute, wait a minute. How do you
That's called
equate purpose
predestined.
with free will? If you have a purpose that's already predestined for you, there is no free will. You have to get rid of
Even
free will. That makes no sense,
no,
organic.
it
This
makes
makes
sense.
no
It makes
sense
sense.
what you're saying.
It
That
makes
made
sense.
no
Let me
sense.
go back. Okay, let me clarify it for you then. Free
Okay.
will meaning that you give it because for example, you could drink water or drink bleach, but the consequences of it is different. You can drink water and you'll quench your thirst, or you can drink bleach and you can die, right? But both of them, whether you do that, whether you make the choice to do that thing with free will, or you make the choice to do A, or you make the choice to do B, all of it is written out beforehand. You understand what I'm saying? So your purpose of what you live out is already written out beforehand. Does that make sense to you?
No, no, absolutely not. That
But
free
you
will is not analogous to one drinking fucking bleach. Would you stop
okay?
it? Why don't you make your assertion is that a God is behind it, right? That's your that's where we going, right? This is
God's behind
ultimately
good
what
and
you're
bad.
trying to say, right?
I believe that Allah's behind bad and good, both.
There we go. There we go.
I
That's
believe
where
He
we were trying
created
to get to.
evil, and I believe He created good.
Okay, okay. This is where see this is
I believe you guys often give Him the bad, but don't give Him good.
because there's more bad than good. He's immoral as hell. There's more bad than good with him.
And more with that's with your limited understanding. But you also
Oh,
mentioned that you're
my
limited. You don't know
understanding.
all things.
My
It's like
understanding.
someone. It's like someone who's looking at who's standing on the moon, looking at planet Earth. They can see a larger view than you. You're standing on planet Earth, trying to look at a star billions of miles away from you, and you're trying to say that I know everything about that particular star. And I just think that's very dishonest in many ways and
Okay,
disingenuous. And
organic. Didn't I just sit here and answer one of your questions with the phrase "I don't know"? So why would you assume I know something about a star? I just told there are things that obviously
no,
nobody
because
knows all the questions.
But
Organic.
you said something was immoral. And by the way, you borrowed. You can't use morality because if you do it, then you're borrowing from religion. Because
Oh
if there's
my
no God, the
God!
thing
I
is a moral.
can't use it.
How
Do
there's no moral
organic? Do
standard.
you? No,
There's no moral
no, no,
compass. Let
no,
us finish.
no, 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 no. You got to stop. See, when me and you talk, right, or me and anybody talk that's of the religious mindset, right? You know, another claim you just made that religion sets the standard for morality. Are you serious? Are you really gonna go there right now?
No,
Is
because
that what you're
those.
trying to say? That we
Okay,
get
let me
our
ask you.
morality from religion?
Let me ask you: is morality objective? Is morality objective or subjective?
Your morality
Is
is your
morality
morality,
objective or
right?
subjective?
Morality can be both subjective and objective. There are no absolutes in the world, right? There are no absolute truths, right? Can we both agree on
Okay,
this,
Okay, so raping
right?
someone can be good. What point in time can raping somebody be good?
No, no, no. To the rapist.
So to him, that's good.
To
So
the
it's
rapist.
subjective. Wow, so he can set the
To
moral
to
standard
to
as a
to
rapist.
to the rapist. To the
Yeah,
rapist,
but
not to
don't
me. Yeah, not to
no, no. I
me.
see.
Yeah, just to the rapist, right? That's his morality or lack thereof, right?
No, yes,
I
I'm
mean, we
asking you, would
gotta
that be,
we
would that, but
huh?
how do you define morality then?
What do you
What do
mean?
you define
Here you
morality
go.
as?
I'm gonna make this simple to you, right? I'm gonna make this simple for you.
Define morality.
In this description of morality, I'm gonna make this really simple for you, right? Eh, Here we go. Now listen to me, hear me carefully, right?
Just define morality
We
for me,
are
please, before we go forward.
wait, we I'm going to break it down for you, right? I'm going to make it real simple. I'm not going to give you a long drawn out description that's going to fly over a lot of people's heads. I'm going to break this real down to you. I'm going to break this down to you. As a human being, me and you, right? Would you consider yourself an empathic being?
Break down empathic. I'm not familiar with that term.
Having empathy, one who has empathy.
Oh yeah,
Do
empathic.
you
Okay,
do you have
empathy.
you have empathy for others,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, here we go. If I punched you in the fucking face, right? Or one of your friends in the fucking face, right? Me being an empathic being, I just realized that punching you in your fucking face, it hurt you, right?
Hmm.
That hurt you, and I saw the damage that did to you, right? Now, if
Hmm.
I have empathy for that, right? I would therefore realize that punching somebody in the face like that was not a good thing to do, and I would not want somebody to do that to me, right?
Hmm.
Ergo,
I'm happy you feel that
punching
way.
people in the fucking punching people in the face is not a good thing to do. That's your morality, right? It doesn't take
Okay.
a book to lay out my like it doesn't take a book to make me realize
Mhm.
that killing people is bad. It doesn't take a book
Okay.
to make me realize it just simply does not take a I don't get my morality from not
I never
one
made.
book. We are empathic
I
beings
never
by
claimed.
nature.
I never claimed that the Quran has. I never claimed that the Quran makes gives a person can't measure between right and wrong just based upon the Quran. I never made that claim because I believe that is innately
You just
instilled
said
into the
that.
creation of Almighty. No, no. The Quran clarifies certain laws and commands and things that we should do and should abstain from it. But I'm saying that's innately instilled in us from the conception of us being a creation. So that's part of my religion belief. So I never made that statement, by the way. But what I want to say to you, I'm happy that you're an empathic being, as you stated here. But what I would like to say to you, what
You
about the
are
person
too.
who?
You are too organic. You are
Thank
too,
you for
right?
noticing. Okay, yes, yes, but I want to say this to you though. What about the person who all the same things in the face and don't feel the same way you feel and don't have empathy for others? What about that person? And if he says that's right because he you hear me?
Okay,
I don't know
you
what's going
coming back. I bet you your phone is hot right now, ain't it?
on. Man, my phone, man, I can cook grease with this phone, bro.
That's
It's
why
gonna cut off. We
you
got
got
like
to
five
leave
more minutes on here.
yeah, you got to start leaving
Say
your
that again.
windows open, brother. Get some you got to start leaving your car
Yeah, that's
windows
what I
open
did.
when you're doing it. Oh, okay. Well, we've been on here
Yeah, I
for
got my
quite a
windows
while
open
though.
now.
Okay. Well, we've been
Yeah,
on here
my
for quite a
windows open
while.
right
So.
now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
actually,
Well, we've been
there's a few more discussions that we need to have definitely, so we can schedule something
okay.
else. I got 5 minutes before my battery life dies out too, by the way, and my phone is super hot, so I don't know when
Okay.
it's gonna crash on me. But I
Okay.
definitely want to build some more on this topic with you, because, like I said earlier in this discussion, if one thing we learn from this is we can see that there's other ways of looking at information. There's other ways of thinking about things, and I think that's very fruitful for us both, and
Right.
also we can see where we disagree at different places. Then we know certain commonalities that we share, and we can build on those commonalities as well.
Right.
So
Right.
I actually, actually,
Because
you are my brother, and I got
because
nothing but love for you. That's real.
right. Right. But because organic, when it gets down to it, we agree more than we disagree. Right.
That's true.
It's just small things that
Yeah.
we disagree on when it comes to religion and things of that nature. But we agree more when we keep religion out of the conversation, then we tend to agree more. And we can have fruitful
Yeah.
conversations. It's just when religion is entered into the conversation gets convoluted.
And I think religion, that term religion, is like kryptonite for atheists. I think that's what it is.
What's that, brother?
I think religion, the term religion, is like kryptonite to atheists.
No, 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 I wouldn't say that because religion was here first. Atheism came after religion, right?
Okay, I want
So,
to read in the chat room. Oh, I'm sorry. Anthony Peterson was making a statement towards something I said. He said, "You said morality come from religion." If I use the term religion in that instance, let me correct that. I believe morality come from an objective source, which is God. Because if morality is subjective, that means it depends on that person. Everyone would define what is good differently, and there wouldn't be no objective truth, and we couldn't measure anything in the reality in which we live in. This is the reasons why I made that point with my brother Leno. We didn't get a time to address that. I'm sure that he has a lot to say about that, particularly that. Brother Anthony said rape is good to the rapist. Well, that was a point that he was making to the individual, but that wasn't actually the question that I made. I asked the brother, but that's how he answered it. Rape is good to the rapist. I asked it in a general sense, not subjective to that individual. Another question was put here: believe placing your trust in something, someone, in absence of proof. Mr. Anthony Peterson said, just because you can't see it with your eyes, it don't exist. I don't. I believe that's an insufficient position to take because lack of physical absence, there must not be no God. I believe that you have to look beyond things that you can't physically see before you, because evidence is deeper than that, brother. You have to be more deeper than that yourself to actually see it. Okay, someone said, or Nell said, okay, so homosexuality has been planned ahead of time by some effing sovereign God. If God planned everything, then homosexuality must also be planned ahead. Homosexuality was provided. I said God created evil and he created good. And he created certain connotations to evil, certain connotations to good, and he created free will and given choice to mankind to either pick free will, to pick good or pick bad, and he laid consequences. There's always a reaction to every action. You believe that's a simple law of the universe and physics. So therefore you can use that consistent in this particular claim as well, brother. I see no problem with that. You have not punched any holes into my position as yet. I just hear nothing but rhetoric. Being a serial rapist is purpose child molesters in order to. Is that that's your car or my car? Okay. If this life has a specific purpose, then there's a destiny. If there's a destiny, there's no free will. It said this
Organic,
life.
you're leaving. You breaking up real bad, organic.
Can you hear? Is it better now or worse?
Yeah, you breaking up real bad now, bro.
Ah, okay. Let me see. Let me make this. Let me see if this is better. How about now?
I mean, you gotta do some talking.
Yeah, okay. So I'm reading up in the chat room some of the comments people was make. It says if this life has a specific purpose, then there's no destiny. If there's a destiny, there's no free will. I think your understanding of how destiny work and how free will work and how purpose will work is different. And I've had more time. We'll define each one of these different terms separately, and I'll show you how they all work together in harmony with each other. Um, I think that's more so of a lack of understanding that. Oh, brother Anthony Peterson, no problem, brother. Most definitely. I know you're an atheist as well. A little more definitely probably can help use your help and assistance here on this platform. So anytime you could come on the platform, we can definitely schedule a time where I can actually bring you on. I would love to have this discussion with you. By all means, but in light of truth. I don't like ad hominem attacks. We don't, anything of that nature. We're only dealing with information. And we're dealing with a logical discussion. And this brother, to be honest with you, I actually like this brother. I consider Little More my brother, and I have love for this brother. Nothing but love over here. Are you not an atheist? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that again, Little.
Mad love for you too, brother.
Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, but yeah. So so definitely. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but until next time, brother Little More, man, I want to thank you for coming on to the show, brother. It was a nice build. I'm gonna chop this up, edit this up, and I'm gonna put this on YouTube. So you gonna be out there, brother. Also, you can share this. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm gonna have more discussions like this. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, you guys enjoy the remaining of your morning.